Ending 1. Love. She then looked at Todoroki and smiled, wanting to tell him what had been wrong with her. Finally, once and for all. I have something to tell you. Shoto, She couldn't even get the words out of her mouth. What she had been waiting for this whole time. She couldn't even bring herself to even on her deathbed. As a tear rolled down her cheek, she gently caressed his face and leaned in as she softly pressed his lips against his. To her surprise, he kissed back, a hand on her leg and on her cheek as well, as he held her close, not wanting to lose her for this moment. Eventually, the two pulled away, faces red as ever, as Yin started to cry. She felt so happy, and he spoke up. So, is this your way of saying you like me? Because I love you, Yin. He whispered to her, holding her hand, looking her in the eyes, meaning every word. Yin felt a wave of happiness gush over her as she got out of her bed. She didn't know how, but she was already feeling so much better. It felt like those pesky thorns and flowers were finally escaping her body, and she couldn't help but squeal in happiness as she jumped on Todoroki, happy to be here with him as they kissed once more. I love you so much more. You don't understand, she whispered. Will you be my girlfriend, Yin? He whispered again, her soft lips, and felt her nod instantly. He couldn't help but let out a laugh and kiss her one more time before the doctor came in. He looked shocked and smiled. Did you figure everything out? He said, going to the medical machine and looking at it, seeing nothing was wrong with the state of Yin's health. And he smiled. The two of you nodded. Yes, I can't wait to tell you everything. She looked at her now boyfriend and couldn't stop smiling. The two of them were so happy with each other. Yin was finally back in school and doing her training once more, side by side with her loving boyfriend and childhood friend. Even after you guys graduated, you stayed together, having a life as pro heroes and possibly thinking about kids. But in the future, you guys were still young and in love. Ending 2. Surgery. She then looked at Todoroki and smiled, wanting to tell him what had been wrong with her. Finally, once and for all, I have something to tell you. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. The scared hair-colored girl whispered out to her crush and best friend. She remembered what Katsuki said, how her life shouldn't be wasted because of some boy. She deserved her life to live to the fullest, with or without Todoroki. What for Yin? The bi-colored hair boy asked, tilting his head as he was confused. For what's about to happen to me? To us. I'm sorry I have to do this, but I hope you'll be happy with Momo, she said sadly. He looked even more confused, grabbing her hand. Stop this. You have to explain, he pleaded with the poor girl, who was draining of life. All she could do was smile as she reached over and pressed a button. The doctor's coming into the room as she nodded towards him. I want the surgery. She spoke softly and weakly, and she could tell that the doctor's smiles were fake, but reassuring to her nonetheless, quickly letting her go to the operating room as they leave the poor boy behind, confused. Katsuki walks in, noticing her missing. She's gonna forget you, he told the boy sitting in a nearby chair. As he watched him, Todoroki snapped his head towards him with a glare. What's that supposed to mean? Katsuki sighed as you clearly hadn't explained. The disease, Hanahaki, is caused by one-sided love. She loved you. She thought you loved Momo. So instead of dying from unappreciated feelings, she's going to forget about you completely by getting rid of the flowers. Todoroki just stood there, shocked. He couldn't believe it. He didn't want to believe it. He fell to the ground as he silently sobbed. He couldn't even think about losing his best friend, but here he was. He decided to stay, but the doctors had asked him to leave once she was done with the surgery. They didn't want her to be confused by him or have memories flood back, which was nearly impossible. Once Yin had finally awakened, she looked at the spiky-haired boy, Katsuki, right on her leg again. She smiled and ran her fingers through his hair. He peeked up and smirked. Hey. Oh, that's you. Hey, what are you doing? He chuckled at her, feeling so much better now that she was at risk of pesky disease. She laughed a bit as she slowly got out of the bed and wrapped her arms around him. Thank you for being here for me, she whispered. He only nodded and kissed her cheek, sending a burning sensation through her body, but a good one. She was blushing hard, except she had something on her mind, or someone. She didn't know who, though. She shook away the thought as Katsuki crawled in her bed with her, and they cuddled for a short while, him whispering sweet nothings in her ear as he gently strokes her hair away from her face. After a couple hours of checking on Yin, making sure she was okay to leave, they released her and she was happy to be home to get some rest. Katsuki was with her as well, wanting to make sure she was okay all the time. Yin sat on a bed as she scrolled through her contacts, finding the name Hot and Cold. She thought to herself, thinking that was some stupid name as she deleted the contacts, deleting her whole life with her best friend, as if he didn't even exist. To her, she wouldn't even know. She wasn't focused on that, but the blonde boy in her room. She lifted her arms up and he hugged her tightly before he looked at her and whispered, "Can I kiss you?" He asked politely, which she didn't expect. She giggled and nodded before pressing her soft lips against his own. They stayed like that for a short while before the two cuddled in bed, not knowing of their future holds. At school, Mina was happy that her two best friends were dating, but she always felt like a third wheel. The other kids didn't accept it either, but at the time, when everyone got used to it. But everyone but Todoroki Shoto. After grading and becoming a pro heroes together, graduating, oopsies, was when the spiky blonde took you out on a date to a fancy waterfall. You watched that water happily as you smiled, so fresh. It was like a new experience, like a dream. As you turned around and saw Katsuki on one knee with a beautiful ring. Will you marry me, Yin? And finally, the saddest of all endings. Ending 3. Heartbreak. She then looked at Todoroki and smiled, wanting to tell him what had been wrong with her, finally, once and for all. I have to tell you something. I like you, Todoroki, the girl told the boy finally. It was silent. Almost a minute had gone by. Was he sleeping? No, he was staring at the ground. He looked up at her with a hurt expression inside. I'm sorry, Yin. I don't feel the same way towards you, he muttered, and she only felt her heart shatter. As fast as possible, the blood and flowers filled her throat as she was coughing it up violently. His eyes widened as he called for the doctor, but there was nothing they could have done. She was gone. Small black, red, and white flowers bloomed from her lifeless chest. Her breathing slowed to a complete stop. That was it. She was gone. They hosted a small funeral for the hair-colored girl. And once Todoroki knew what had caused her disease and what it was, and also why she had died. He blamed himself every day. Katsuki looked drained and dead, as he did have a crush on the girl for a while. He did everything in his power to protect her from Shoto, but he only glared at him now. Shoto stood at her casket, and a hand ran down over it, tears running down his cheeks. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. I'm sorry I didn't save you at the right time, Yen. I'm sorry I didn't love you. Man, what a finale! Anyways, I've got a few stories for you guys to pick from, because I know if I do a community post, it's going to take a while for everyone to see it. So I have 2 Deku stories and 1 Kirishima story. So if you guys want to know more about them, I will not really make an episode of each one, but one of the Deku stories is basically you becoming a teacher at UA and finding Deku also a teacher, because if you haven't read the manga, sorry, but there's gonna be major manga spoilers, and it's completed, so you guys don't have to worry. And I think, give me a moment, the other one is of course Deku, and I kind of just went off by how long they were, because I didn't want to short a story again. So this one is basically your online's daughter. Okay. Anyways, and time for Kirishima. Just give me a moment to open it up. Basically, it's a soldier, Eiji Kirishima X U. I don't know really what the book's about. I only read the Deku ones, so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope to see you guys make your decision really quickly, because I know it's gonna be hard, but love you guys so much. Mwah.